Hey guys, welcome back. So in this particular video, we are going to see how we can add a treasure chest box and emit and trigger a signal whenever the player gets in contact with that. So let's go ahead and close this tab, and for now I'm going to leave this player tab as it is. Let's click on the plus to create a new tab, and again I'm going to choose the area 2D node. Okay, and let's call this one as a treasure chest. Okay, and let's add a child node called sprite 2D. So basically using the same process to add a sprite, let's go ahead, click art, and add this one. Okay, and right now, since the area 2D node is there, we have to add a collision shape in order to be able to define a collision area. So let's drag this out. Okay, so we have added this collision shape. Let's define a rectangular shape, I believe is fine. So I'm going to hold alt on my keyboard, and oops, it triggered. Okay, no, I don't want a cigarette, just leave me alone. Okay, there's something happened with the phone. All right, so I believe the alt button is not working, so let's press control and maybe. All right, no issues. Let me just add this like this, and yeah, we have defined it. Okay, so now it's time to save. Click scene, go ahead, click save, and under the components, this one is going to be the treasure. Okay, click save. So now our component is created. Let's add it to our main scene. So I'm going to select this root node, and from here let's select the treasure, and the treasure is going to be here somewhere. Okay, so let's press Ctrl S to save. Let's hit play, and let's see. Perfect. So now there's only one thing: the player is going beneath the treasure sprite, and let's just fix that real quick. So it's very easy. So all we have to do is go to our player tab. Okay, and make sure our sprite node is selected, and in the ordering option for the z index, let's set it to a higher value. For example, let's set it to 10. Okay, and press Ctrl S to save, and let's see. This time I'm going to use my keyboard, and perfect. So our player is able to right now overlap with the treasure chest, but the system is not detecting anything. Okay, so let's just fix that. So what we can do now is we can go over to the treasure. Okay, and in order to emit a certain signal, first we need to detect the collision, right? So what we can do is go back to our player node, and in the area 2D node, the root node, when make sure it is selected, go to the node tab, and from here what we are interested in, this area entered. Okay, just double click, and since we already have a script attached, so we can connect this one, and let's go ahead and scroll down. So over here you can see this function is created. So whenever something is entered, so I'm gonna print collided with something. Okay, so this is just a test message that we have added just now. Press play, and if I am going to collide with the chest, now you can see we are getting this message. Okay, So in our case, we have two things to check for. One is the treasure and another is the enemy. Okay, so to keep the coding in mind and to keep all things less repeatable, there is a thankfully awesome way to do this, and basically this is a way called as grouping. Okay, so in this particular method, what we you do is you group items into certain category, and when the collision is happening, you can check that whether that particular item is belonging to a certain category. If yes, then perform something. Okay, so the same thing we are going to do over here. So we are here in the treasure tab. Okay, and by selecting the root node, which is the area 2D node, I am going to go to this node tab, and by default this signals sub tab is open. I'm going to click this groups. Okay, and in the latest version of Godot, you can see there are two different subcategories of group: scene groups or the global groups. Okay, scene groups is the groups that you want to access within this hierarchy only, within this uh, for example, this is a separate hierarchy, and this is a separate hierarchy, and this game scene is a separate hierarchy, right? So if you want certain groups, if you want certain conditions to check and to happen, which can be accessed within this hierarchy only, then you are going to use the scene groups. But let's say the player needs to access the information whether this treasure I mean this item has a certain group or not. So this is going to be accessed only via global groups. So for any groups that can be accessed from outside the hierarchy, you need to use the global groups. So let's click plus, and for this one, let's say treasure. Okay, and I'm going to check this global box in order to make this global groups as a, I mean this treasure group as a child of this global group. Okay, and I'm going to press go to the scene and save this scene. Now for our player, let's go back to the script, and now I want to check if the item that the player is getting collided with, if that item belongs to the treasure group or not. So simply we can check if area is in group. Okay, and for the group name you have to pass a string and make sure the string matches whatever the group name that you had given. So if the area is in group of treasure, so for now let's just print you won the game. Okay, now let's play. Let's see, you won the game. So here you can see I got that message. Perfect. So now we have added our treasure, we have added a particular group for that treasure, and we have assigned that logic into our player logic as well. So now one last thing that we have to do is basically add a particular signal and emit that signal whenever our player is colliding with that particular type of item. So let's create a signal over here. Let's create signal on player found treasure. Okay, and over here simply we have to emit the signal. Okay, on player found treasure, and that's it. Our treasure is now configured to be used within the game. So in the next video we are going to add the enemies, and we are also going to configure that when the player is going to collide with the enemy, what is going to happen. So see you in the next one.